So AT&T, the cell phone service provider, has been doing this tournament series. They've done it a couple times. I don't know which one they're on, like the sixth one, or I don't know. I feel like this is at least the third one I've heard of, called the Annihilator Cup. You know how difficult it was? I had to like go double check that I was spelling annihilator right. It's like nihilism, ator, annihilator, which makes sense. But it's one of those words that you don't really think about because you read it so quickly. As soon as you know what the word is, it's just, oh, you don't read it very closely because there's so many letters in it. But yeah, they've been doing this thing called the Annihilator Cup, and the idea is that it's kind of this big old marketing thing for multiple games and multiple companies and multiple streamers, where they get a bunch of streamers from like Twitch and stuff and YouTube, I suppose, and they have them compete in it's like a 6-week tournament series where each weekend is a different game. And they're like arranged into teams or something like that. Something of that sort. And this only came into my purview because I think, oh yeah, like 2 years ago, they did one in one of the featured games with Street Fighter V. Like in its very, very last months, like literally like a couple months before 6 came out, they did 5, which I guess was just like a poor scheduling. I don't even know if you'd say poor, just like how the scheduling worked out. And I think I might have even talked about it when it happened, because so what I find fun about these tournaments is that I see people go, oh, it's just a bunch of streamers, and it's like, yeah, no, that's what's awesome about it. Because a bunch of people don't know what the fuck they're doing. I love watching people who don't know how to play fighting games. Genuinely, like there's games where I watch it. I remember being, playing League of Legends and watching really bad League of Legends players. And it was like painful. It was like a painful experience. I love watching low-level fighting games. It is so much fun. Because people like kind of half understand how to do things, but they keep fucking it up. And there's like this constant tension. The imperfection adds this quality to it where like when you watch really high level play, when someone like whiffs a DP or something, you're like, oh my God, they're going to get punished to fucking hell and back. And you just know, you just see the other person like get the hit to start the combo, and you're like, okay, I know exactly where this is going. Like, I know what the next 7 seconds are going to look like. But when you watch something like this, someone whiffs a DP, and just like, it is the most insane, frantic scramble as nobody knows what to do, and the other guy's like, oh, fuck, oh, what, they're like throwing out supers and doing all sorts of random shit, and they're like constantly dropping combos. And so stuff that in any other tournament you'd watch would just be like, oh yeah, they just always hit Luke perfect charge, fucking knuckle. Here it's like, oh shit, he undercharged it, the combo dropped, oh no. I think stuff like that is a lot of fun, because it's kind of a surprise to everybody involved, including me. Well, yeah, especially the audience. And this specific Annihilator Cup that they had recently for 6 had a really interesting little wrinkle to it. So, one of the things that has been a constant, or it's been a growing kind of pain point for Street Fighter 6, is that the game is a little content dry in its updates, right? As a base game, it's incredible, but Capcom has been very slow. I've talked about this before, but they've been very slow with kind of adding either content that people really want, like character costumes, and the big one is balance changes, and that's more of a philosophy thing. Capcom has committed, for now at least, to one balance patch a year. which I think is a little too long. I think that's a little too far apart to balance your to like any change. There was a minor patch a few months ago that added like a couple little changes, which was very refreshing. It was like kind of like a drop of water in the desert, but yeah. In some ways there's upsides to it, because like, okay, so some of the upsides are it's really interesting to watch characters get developed over the course of an entire year. It's kind of like something that you see with older games, right? That are like done, they're in end of life, and suddenly you just see kind of year over year, it's like, oh shit, this character who was considered maybe kind of bad or was kind of a mid-tier, people kind of start figuring them out. And now you end up in a situation where, like, yeah, you know, at the start of the game, characters like Guile were considered really strong. And now, like, oh, actually, Blanca is really good. This might be one of Blanca's best versions in a Street Fighter game. Stuff like that is cool. But you also have the fact that, like, okay, from day one, people knew that JP and Ken were, like, the best characters in the game. And they're still, like, the best characters in the game. Right? So there's some stuff that hasn't been figured out, or that didn't get figured out, and there's some stuff that was very obvious and is enduring. And I think that's the stuff that people are a little more like, okay, I just kind of wish there was a little bit of a shakeup. So with the one of the big things with the upcoming Akuma patch, which drops tomorrow, as I'm recording this, is it not only is Akuma coming to the game, there's also a full big ass whole game balance patch. Patch or pass? They both work. So this has been like, it's like Akuma, but like, oh my god, give me the patch notes, give me the patch notes. And Capcom has been doing the funniest goddamn thing with it. They have been teasing patch notes for like weeks at this point. They flew out a bunch of like fighting game YouTubers to get like a hands-on preview of Akuma, and they did one of those at like Evo Japan. Pretty sure they flew some people out to their offices in like San Francisco or something to get to record some footage, and they're like, okay, you get training mode with a couple specific characters, and we're gonna give you the patch notes for a couple specific characters. Like, they wouldn't just release the full patch notes. Like, okay. Part of that, I imagine, might be like some characters were still like didn't have finalized changes yet, so they didn't want to like show that off before they were ready to ship the patch. Or they might have been bug testing or something like that. So there could have been a practical reason, but also part of me wants to say that they were just being a little troll. They might have been doing a little trolling with it. They released a video showing off a couple of the changes for every character. They've been very cagey about what is actually in the Season 2 balance patch. And there's like this anxiety around it. And then they announce, hey, the AT&T Annihilator Cup is going to be played on the Akuma patch, aka the Season 2 balance update. So some people were pissed. I thought that was funny as fuck. That is something I would do. So basically, a bunch of streamers, most of which have no idea how to play Street Fighter, are being saddled with this new game, which most of them probably haven't even played before. And they can't even look up accurate information about the game because no one knows what the changes are. They can't, if they go on like the Super Combo wiki to be like, what's like a basic overview of my character? I don't know, dude. Your character might have been completely changed from one patch to the next. Like, who knows? And I think that is so funny. Plus, there's this new character that no one knows anything about with Akuma. There's like very, very basic stuff, like hands-on, known with him. Like frame data is not. I'm pretty sure like frame data was not finalized or anything. Like Oh my god, that is so funny. That is such a funny move. So everyone was watching. It was like they just sent these fucking streamers out to die in like the Roman Colosseum blood sport. And people were like watching these streams, watching this like below beginner level play, trying to eke out the changes in the patch. It is so funny. Some people were mad. I think it's hilarious. This is why you can't invest yourself in a single game. Because I'm like, I love Street Fighter 6, but I've got lots of other games that I can play. So I can just kind of sit back and say, you know what? That was a really funny prank that you guys pulled, Capcom. I can't wait. Yeah, so that was the Annihilator Cup. Did I have anything else to mention on that? I don't know. You always end up with some very funny reactions from people who are not, like, you're like, oh my god. Like, you watch the gameplay and you're like, oh my god. Oh no, he doesn't know how to block. He doesn't know how to block low. Oh no, no one ever told him how to block low, or he forgot. Oh no. And they just keep getting swept over and over again. There's like this dude, his name is like Sketch or something. He had the funniest reactions. He's constantly wearing like a football jersey, and he's just going, "What do I do? What do I do? How do I stop her? Why do I stop her?" He just gets like throw looped by Cammy like 5 times in a row. It's awesome. This is blood sport. Yeah, so that was the Annihilator Cup and all that silly business.